So I guess this is the prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Nice.
All right, so we watched an actual horror movie, an honest to God horror movie, didn't we, Micah?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. And thank you for the person who commented in our last video and suggested that we watch Silence of the Lambs. We appreciate you chiming in and letting us know what you think we should watch. We didn't watch that, did we?
No, and you guys, maybe next year.
No, I think we should just watch it.
I just don't know if I can handle it.
I'm trying to convince Micah to watch it so that, we've taken your thoughts into consideration and it will happen eventually this year, this spooky season, hopefully. But we decided to watch The Shining instead because Micah thought it would be a little bit less scary for her. Parents Guide, this is a movie with a decent amount of language. It's not excessive, but it is there. There's probably over 10 F-bombs, I would guess. There is some violence. It's not like over the top, in my opinion. I remember seeing the scene where Danny is riding the tricycle and then he sees the twins and then it flashes to
The blood.
what happened to them. And I remember when I was young, and I remember seeing that scene when I was young and thinking that was like extremely violent. And it is violent, but it's like it's not overly graphic in my opinion. What did you think about that?
I had to look away.
Okay. So yeah, there's a little bit of graphic violence. And then there is a scene of full frontal nudity.
Yeah, it lasts kind of a long
Yeah.
time.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
it's not sexual.
And then I checked my watch and I was like, it's still going.
I know. And it's
yes, it is.
Uh,
It is.
It is at the end of it, I guess. But
we'll talk about that in spoilers more specifically.
Oh.
What did you think? Do you want to give a synopsis? I feel like everybody kind of knows what The Shining is, but you might as well give a synopsis.
Okay, so the Torrance family is Jack and Wendy are the mom and dad.
Yep.
Husband and wife, if you will.
I won't. I don't recognize their marriage.
Do you think they got married in the church?
Oh, well,
So is it valid in the eyes of God? Okay, and then their son, Danny.
Yeah.
And
Tony. Don't forget about Tony.
The dad, Jack, is a writer and accepts this job as a caretaker of a hotel over the winter. And it's up in the mountains in Colorado. And they're supposed to stay there from the middle end of October all the way through May, I think. Or it's November. October or November.
Beginning of May.
Yeah, to the beginning of May. And they're just supposed to take care of the hotel and make sure none of the pipes burst and
right,
no snow gets in and all that. And the reason they do that, have a caretaker, is because apparently they have like 20 feet of snow on average through the mountain pass or the road up there or whatever it is. When Jack accepts the job, the manager is like, well, you've heard about the previous caretaker, right? And Jack's like, no, what happened? And the previous caretaker was a dude.
Well, it wasn't the directly previous one. It was in 1970 something that it happened.
This movie's set in 75.
I thought it was set in like 80.
That's when it came out.
Because
if you had watched the video that I sent you,
oh, then I'd know.
Yeah.
But he's not his direct predecessor, is he?
Why would he share it then?
Well, because I thought he mentioned in the interview that this is something that puts people off the job when I tell them.
Oh.
So, implying that he'd had this conversation
before. A previous caretaker was up there, and he had 2 daughters. Did he have a wife?
Yeah.
Okay, and a wife. And he went crazy, and he killed his family with
an axe.
The hotel was built on Native American burial grounds.
Yeah.
What else is there? Oh, yeah. Danny has a little friend. His name is Tony.
Imaginary friend.
And I don't think he's imaginary.
Yeah, but...
And he lives in Danny's mouth. And anytime people try to say, let me see Tony, open your mouth, i.e. Wendy, Tony goes into Danny's tummy.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and nothing goes wrong, and they go to the hotel, and they...
have a splendid winter.
They really enjoy it, and they go sledding, and they spend good time as a family, And Jack gets his book finished because that's part of the reason he wants to go up there. He wants isolation and time to write his book, he calls it his writing project, but whatever the it is, he wants to get it done, and he gets it done. And Danny bonds with his parents, and they take care of the hotel, and it's all ship shape. And then the season rolls over, and they go home.
Well, they have a second baby, and the baby, not that their marriage was rocky, but
A second baby over the course of
and the baby saves their marriage.
October to
That's
May.
perfectly fine, and there's no complications, and everybody's happy, and Danny's a great older brother, and Jack is super nice and treats everybody kindly, and
Yeah.
and then at the end of the season, everybody goes home.
So this would imply that Wendy is, substantially pregnant before they get to the hotel, because
It's a very healthy preemie baby.
from October to May.
November, December, January, February, March, April, May.
Okay, all right, yeah. 7 month. Yeah, that's not what happens. Sorry for going off on that tangent. This is a scary movie for a reason, right? And I think at one point it was labeled as one of the scariest movies of all time.
Oh.
By who, I don't know. Maybe IMDb, maybe Rolling Stone. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because I don't have any real information. I just kind of vaguely remember it being labeled as one of the scariest movies of all time.
Where'd you read that?
My point was, Micah, I don't know. And I can see why. Like this must have been really scary when it came out in the 80s.
Part of the synopsis. So, when the family shows up on the last day of the season to be shown, do a walkthrough of the hotel, to be shown like where the kitchen is, where the food is, the breakers or whatever, get a tour. What's that black guy's name?
Dick. Holla holla. Dick Halloran.
Dick?
I think his name is Dick. Dick Halloran.
Okay.
Yeah.
The head chef walks Wendy and Danny through the kitchen. It's super sexist. They get to the hotel and the manager's like, "Let's do a tour. Wendy, why don't you go with the chef and he can show you the kitchen?"
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And while they're in doing the tour, the head chef starts calling Danny Doc, and Wendy's like, how did you know that we call him Doc? And the chef is like, "Oh, I must have heard you guys say it." And then as he's giving the tour, you see him talking to Wendy, and then you hear like his mouth is still moving, but like it goes quiet, and it's like he's talking to Danny.
Yeah, telepathically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you want some ice cream or something? And later, the chef and Danny are talking, and the chef is like, "Did you know that you could do this?" And Danny's like, "Yeah, I talked to Tony this way."
And he's like, does Tony tell you to do things ever? Everybody's trying to get information about Tony. They're trying to get intel on Tony. The therapist that Wendy has Danny see at the very beginning of the movie thinks that Tony is a hallucination or a voice in his head or whatever. She doesn't obviously believe that he's like a real entity, but Dick is like,
No, Tony's real.
Dick is like, yeah, Tony's probably real. What does he tell you?
And also, he's like, "My mom told me that people that could do this, it's called The Shining.
Yeah.
That can talk to each other."
They shine to each other.
Right.
Kind of fascinating. I really like the premise that there's some people that are just
Gifted-ish.
gifted and attuned to the spiritual realm, and they're able to shine. I like that it's called Shine for some reason. I think that's a
Shining.
kind of like an ominous but cool way to describe it. Anyways, Danny has been shown a vision by Tony before they go to the hotel of this like blood gushing out of an elevator, like a blood flood coming out of one of the elevators of the hotel, and he faints. And anyway, this not really pertinent, but he's received this vision from Tony that maybe this hotel is not the best place for them to be, and so he's asking he's asking Dick Holla Holla Hollerin about it. Is this a bad place? And Dick says, no, it's not a bad place.
Bad things have happened
Bad
here.
things have happened here, and sometimes they leave a shine. Bad things that,
like a memory.
Yeah. And people can see them. And then Danny's asking about room 273. Is that it?
237.
237. Damn it. He's asking about room 237. And Dick's like, no, nothing bad happened in there. Don't go in there, though. Nothing bad happened in there, but don't go in there.
Did Tony tell you about room 237?
Don't go in there. Nothing bad happened, but don't go in there.
Yeah.
You know. So I think it's sort of difficult. I feel like to watch this movie and truly understand all the parts that are happening in the movie.
Especially because I think it's adapted from a book.
Right.
So it has to be leaving things
And
out.
the things and so they'll have scenes from the book and you're wondering how they tie into the greater narrative of the story, and they don't really in this movie. Like they just kind of happen. Like when Danny and then eventually Jack goes into room 237, what happens in there stays in there, am I right? And then but it doesn't really tie into the rest of like the main thread of the story. It's just kind of something that happens, right? You're wondering whatever happens in room 237, you're wondering how that's connected to the story of Jack, Wendy, and Danny in a major way, because that's what The Shining the movie is about. But I guess the book is able to have subplots and reference events that happened in the hotel in the past in much greater detail, and it all sort of it's a more vividly painted picture in the book, and it's not really that much in the movie. But going back and looking at Reddit threads and synopses and whatever, I'm starting to get a clearer picture of what the Overlook Hotel is. But what did you like about this movie?
One of my first notes is, do you wish you had a little friend that lived in your mouth?
Yeah. Well, what would I name him? Mouthy?
I don't think Danny chose Tony's name.
You think Tony? Yeah, that's fair. So I guess you just got to respect the name of whoever decides to go live in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But my guy would be Mouthy. My first note, you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Shelley Duvall, the actress that played Wendy, ellipsis. Not great, but also not horrible. And you kind of root for her by the end because she's so nice.
You want to know what I wrote about her?
Sure.
I said, the wife is a shit actress.
That's mean.
And, like, yeah, that is kind of mean, but I was in a rush. Had to get all my notes down before I literally forgot everything. I just think the tone of her voice, like, the sound of her voice just bugged me.
Would it change your opinion to know that she's dead
Why would that change my
and she
opinion?
died recently and you're speaking ill of the dead?
We will all die.
Would it change your opinion to know that Stanley Kubrick, who directed this movie, just freaking picked on her nonstop
Yeah, that is kind
during
of sad.
production? And by the time she got to, the part where she's supposed to act really scared, it's probably a real reaction because she was just being tormented
Yeah, that is sad to know.
over the course of a really
I
long
just
shoot.
felt like she had like no inflection ever. It was like she shows up, "Hi everybody. Oh wow, yeah, I'm really excited." And then, you know, scary things are happening and she's like, "I'm really scared. Help me. No." And that's what her voice was the whole time.
See, I really don't think she did that bad,
It was
honestly.
hard for me at times,
I think when you stack her up against Jack Nicholson, the difference becomes very, very clear.
which is what the movie is.
Right. But like I don't think her performance is terrible, terrible.
I just think for me, this movie probably would have been more scary if they had a different actress.
Yeah, that's fair. Would it help to know that would it change your opinion to know that do you know what a Razzie is?
No.
It's like a Oscar for being shit.
Oh yeah, I saw. Did you send me a video?
No, but she won a Razzie for this.
Yeah, I think I saw a video.
I think
It was
that's
probably
harsh.
in the video that I sent you.
I think that's super harsh. There are people that deserve Razzies, freaking deserve Razzies from movies that I've seen. I would not have even entered my radar for Razzie
Mm.
personally. For example, when I watch any Adam Sandler movie except for Happy Gilmore, I'm like, all of these people deserve Razzies for this movie, all of them. But when I watch Shelley Duvall in The Shining, I'm not thinking she deserves a Razzie. I think it's kind of like an overhated performance. It's not the best, obviously, but it's also not disgustingly bad like some people seem to think it is for me.
Would it be your nightmare or a dream to just have like our little family up in a hotel up in the mountains like that?
I think, well, after watching this movie, I think it would be impossible for me not to think of The Shining. Don't you?
Okay, Shining removed.
A whole hotel.
Yeah.
Does anything spooky happen?
No.
Okay, yeah, I think I would like it, but I think I would need to get out of there as soon as the winter was over.
I think it would be hard. I think the idea of it sounds fun, but I think that's too much time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I wrote another note. Jackie Nicky is in fuego, my ego, aka Jack Nicholson is on fire. He does really good.
Mhm.
He does crazy so well.
Yeah. I watched a video talking about how different things that he did. How did I say this? Different elements of acting or whatever, things that he did in his acting to make him really fit the part. And there's one scene where Jack is supposed to be sleeping and Danny's like, "Well, I need to go get a toy out of the room.
Oh
Like, can I
yeah,
please go, mom?
yeah.
I'll be really quiet." And so finally the mom's like, "Okay, go." And he sneaks into their little apartment in the hotel. Jack is just sitting on the bed
Staring.
staring off into the nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, "Danny,
Slowly turns and looks at Danny.
come sit with me." And Danny goes and sits on his lap, and his dad just stares off into the distance. And the guy in the video is like, he stares off in the distance for like it was either 45 seconds or 60 seconds without blinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he finally, goes to the next cut, another 45 or 60 seconds of no blinking. And you don't really realize how unsettling it is, at least for me, until it was pointed out. And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then later on in and
Yeah.
just certain elements.
Well, that was another note that I had, and it's has to do with the performances, but it also has to do with the direction. This movie does not feel like a movie from 1980 to me. When I watch it, there's so many long takes. There's so
Mhm.
many tracking shots. There's so many wide takes. Like this feels if the camera was a little more clear and the audio quality was a little bit I'm not that it's bad at all. It's good. A little bit more modern sounding. I wouldn't be surprised if this movie came out under the A24 production company tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was very ahead of its time is what I'm trying to say. And I think it holds up really really well.
Visually and
Yes, and just the way that it was edited, the way that it was directed. There were a couple of things like I've started to notice this because we're watching Shutter Island right now. That's going to be our next one. Not to be a slut and spoil everything.
such a spoil slut.
I know. Shutter Island's not super old, but it's not new either. One thing that I've noticed with these older thriller movies, horror movies, they they have no restraint when it comes to like music. Like
Shutter Island only came out like 15 years ago.
yeah, but that scene where they're just driving onto the island and nothing has happened yet, nothing to build
Oh,
suspense at all, and it's broad daylight and nothing about this island really looks all that spooky apart from its overcast, and they're just blaring the fucking music, the scary music. And I'm like, this is not working. Like you need to earn this. You can't just create it through really loud, screechy violin music. That doesn't work. And in The Shining, some spooky things had happened already, but Jack is walking into the gold room when he walks into the gold room bar for the first time. It's bright and it's broad daylight and something scary had happened before that, but they really go hog wild with this music as he's just walking into an empty bar, and it doesn't really work for me. Like there's nothing scary about what I'm literally seeing in front of me, really. So like, maybe use that music in a different part. Maybe make the music a little more subtle, a little
hmm.
bit more just subtly off-putting, and I think that would have worked a lot better. That's the only example that comes to mind now, but there are like little nitpicks that I had like that where I felt, okay, that actually doesn't feel quite as modern as the rest of this movie feels. So I had to throw that out there.
I know that I said that I didn't really like Wendy as an actress.
Mhm.
It's crazy to me that Danny was only like 7 or 8, the actor.
And you thought he did good.
He did such a good job.
Red rum.
Yeah.
Red rum. Was that scary?
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
I remember seeing that clip when I was maybe in middle school or high school.
Yeah.
where you find out what red rum means, and I was like, I don't ever want to watch The Shining. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
I was ready for it though, because I knew what it meant. I knew what it meant. I wrote down Coochie Kopi.
Nice.
For those that know, you know.
Yeah.
I really liked the bartender Lloyd. I thought he was really good, and Grady.
Yeah.
Those performances like were a match for Jack Nicholson's, I thought.
Yeah.
And really those are the only ones that are a match for his in the whole movie. Because Wendy's Wendy, say what you want. And Micah did. Dick Holla Holla Holleran is good. He's fine. Danny's really good. Danny is really good. He's probably the second best performance in the movie, but Jack is kind of like on a different level.
Well, and they're playing different types
Yeah.
of roles.
Yeah, they are. And Lloyd and Grady are playing literally they're playing the same type of role as Jack Nicholson is, but their personalities are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lloyd is just the bartender that can't really say too much, but he can say a lot with the way that he's looking at you and the way that he delivers the lines that he does have. And then Grady, at a certain point, Grady switches from being like sort of this bumbling waiter who's just polite and British and no, sir, sorry, sir. Let me help you get that off your jacket, sir. I'm so sorry, sir. I'm afraid that you've mistaken me for someone else. To like scary motherfucker. Your family needs to be corrected.
Whoa, you're a mean little nightlight, aren't you?
Yeah.
Coochie Kopi.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer that that's like what I was thinking of when I watched it, but when I was forgetting about that, I was like, this is really good. This is a really good performance.
I wonder if like this movie didn't seem as scary because certain things I'd seen from Ready Player One.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. This movie has been parodied to death by everybody.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so well made. It
Yeah.
has so many things for people to latch onto. But
Right.
I just wonder if I hadn't seen Ready Player One, if this would have been more scary. Because obviously I've seen like the joke from Bob's Burgers, but it's just a nightlight.
Because you knew, well, we can't talk about that yet, can we?
I think we need to rate it and just.
Yeah. All right. I think this movie holds up extremely well. I think that its strengths are more than strong enough to sort of patch over its weaknesses, if you want to call them that. And I'm referring specifically to Shelley Duvall. But again, she didn't bother me, and I was really rooting for her at the end, and I wanted her to survive, right?
I never said I wanted her to die.
Well, you implied it.
No, I did not.
I think I would give this an 8.5. I think it's really strong. An 8.5. You're breaking my concentration, Wendy. Out
Nice.
of 10.
So for a horror movie, I actually really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I would watch this again.
Yeah.
It wasn't too scary for me. Again, I knew some of the scary things to look for and like knew that it was going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still spooky. I don't know. I just enjoyed it. I think I'm going to rate this a 9.
Yeah.
I wish you could fit through that window.
Yeah. That's
Out of
scary.
10.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, so spoilers for a movie that's 45 years old.
Okay, so here's my question that I'm just coming up with, right? So it's pretty clear that, by the way, the hotel is haunted. There's ghosts everywhere, and that's what Dick Holla Holla Holleran is referring to when he says that they shine, they leave shines behind. Ghosts are around, and it's clear that the ghosts can physically
Manifest.
alter the world. That because one of them chokes Danny and leaves bruises around his neck, and then also one of them lets Jack out of the pantry, the walk-in pantry. So my question is, with other people that have caretaken at that hotel, why is it that the ghosts don't ever bother them? Because my original answer was, well, some people don't have the shining, so they can't see them. So if you can't see them, then it's not going to bother you because you don't know that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But these ghosts can mess with people physically, right? So why have they not messed with other people?
Maybe they have, just not as extreme
Hmm.
as with people that can see them.
Okay. Interesting. And room 237 gets unlocked as well.
By a ghost.
Who the did that?
Dick.
Dick? Holla holla hollerin'?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
No, he didn't. Okay. The end of the movie cuts to a picture that's hanging in the hotel from July 4th, 1921.
Yeah.
And as I already said, this movie was set like 1975. And in the very front is Jack with his
Yeah.
arms out,
At a 4th of July ball.
that happened in the hotel. And he looks the exact same age,
And it's 1925?
21.
21.
So that's like the spooky thing. Is he reincarnated? Is he a ghost? This is what I wrote down. Was he a ghost? Reincarnated? Magic?
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Well, because Grady also tells him in the bathroom,
You've been here
you've
before.
always been the caretaker here.
So was he Grady? And now Grady's here, but doesn't make any sense to me. So is it reincarnation? The video that I watched online said that there is likely two presences and they trade off, basically.
Grady and Jack?
No, Jack and somebody else. So Jack keeps getting reincarnated, and while he's growing up to eventually take over, something else is taking care of it or something.
Yeah,
The video didn't really make
but
any
what
sense.
about all the other ghosts? Because there's like, in theory, because there's Lloyd. Who's Lloyd? And who's Grady?
I can't remember what the
And then
video
and then
said.
who's the woman? And then who are? Oh, this is another note.
Maybe those are.
This is another note. The Blowjob Brothers. I wrote. Who are the Blowjob Brothers?
Is it not Grady and Lloyd? Or who? Who are the Blowjob Brothers?
The guy with the bear mask. Remember
No.
when Wendy's running around and she's starting to see all the ghosts, and she like sees an open door and there's like a guy with a bear mask and then another guy.
This is like making me feel like, do I need to read this book? I don't want to read this book.
It's Stephen King.
I know.
Yeah, Micah watched, or yeah, she watched one Stephen King book and vowed to never do it again.
I'm pretty sure in Friends, Joey reads this book, and every time he reads a book that scares him, he puts it in the freezer. And he gets to a scary part, and he just puts it in the freezer.
Which is ironic because Jack Nicholson gets put into a freezer, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And by freezer, I mean the great outdoors in the dead of winter in Colorado in the mountains. Micah commented like it's probably so fucking cold there, and this is when Jack is chasing Danny through the maze.
And neither of them are wearing winter coats or hats or gloves.
And he freezes to death, pretty quickly.
But like they were out there for a while. They say that the maze can take an hour.
Yeah.
You easily could have Danny should have died, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
from that.
And I'm sure that there are some people that watch this that have never lived in a snowy place that are like, oh come on.
No, like
it is fucking cold.
Like up in the mountains.
In the mountains.
In the middle of winter, it's night and it's windy.
Well,
like the wind chill is what.
Well, and they've already established that this is an abnormally cold place for how much snow they get.
Yeah.
Like that you don't get that kind of snow without being a very cold place.
Yeah.
Good realism there, I think. Let's see what else we got here. So the Naked Ghost is explained much, much better in the book. Apparently that was a guest that used to seduce young boys and kill them.
Oh, she was like a serial pedophile killer.
Well, she would...
I don't think... A pedophile.
I don't know if she was a pedophile. I think she just wanted to kill... She was a murderer, and she just used that aspect of herself to murder people. Murder young boys.
Yeah, so I don't need to read this book, right?
Yeah, but anyway, that's who the woman in room 237 is, and that's not explained at all in the movie. When you're watching the movie, you're just like, "What is this? What is going on? What? How does this connect?" And then he just leaves. He leaves the hotel room and then goes back.
Yeah, and then I never talk about it again. But is that the woman that? So that is the woman that choked Danny.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right. So like the purpose of her being in this film, apart from that just being like a scene in the book that probably they wanted to port over to the movie, B, the reason is this is now proof that it's haunted and that they can physically touch and physically affect things. So I guess it does serve a purpose.
Well, and yeah, that's a good example of you can't bring everything from the book.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you still have to, because that's kind of what starts the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
Is Danny getting choked.
Right. that tricycle, all those tricycle shots, the tracking shots of Danny on the tricycle, really, really good.
Yeah.
Like you're just waiting for him to run into something awful the
Mhm.
whole time. And he doesn't for like the first two tracking shots of him riding the
Mhm.
tricycle. And then when he does, you're like, "Oh god damn it. I knew this was coming."
Yeah.
And then it's the twins, right?
Yeah. The video that I watched talking about this movie said that Jack Nicholson used to work as a forest service person.
Mhm. He was Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, but are they just people? Are they officers? Are they
Rangers.
ranger? Forest service ranger?
Central Park Rangers.
Nice. And so when Jackie Boy is trying to axe down the door,
Mhm.
he was going through these doors too
He
quickly.
was too good at it.
Yeah, he was too good at it. And so they had to get thicker doors, and he had to cut down like 60 doors over the course of like 3 days.
Yeah, that's something that Stanley Kubrick is famous for is
The director.
lots and lots and lots of takes. Yeah. I mean, probably everybody knows Stanley Kubrick, but in case you don't, he did The Shining, he did 2001: A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, which I'll never watch because I've heard it's pretty, Full Metal Jacket, which I've seen like 90% of, but have not finished all the way through. He's sort of revered as one of the greatest directors of all time. Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket, Barry Lyndon, Doctor Strangelove. He did? He did Doctor Strangelove? Anyway, point was, he is famous for being obsessive and everything has to be perfect, so we're gonna do however many takes we have to do until we get my perfect shot. So 60 doors, huh? That's a lot. That's a lot of
Well, and
doors.
like really thick doors.
Jeez. I did want to play a little game. Are you ready for the game? Or did you have anything that you want to?
Just the last thing that video, I should have you link it in the show notes because now I've talked about it so much. But was that Jack, like before the movie starts, had hurt Danny. He came home drunk and
Yeah,
he yanked Danny up and broke his arm or dislocated his shoulder. I can't
yeah,
remember. But anytime that gets referenced, Jack is smiling. Anytime Jack talks about violence,
yeah,
he's always smiling.
yeah.
Which like I didn't really
When they talk about cannibalism at the very beginning, he's smiling.
right.
They reference the Donner Party.
And I didn't realize how unsettling that was until it was pointed out. And it's creepy.
Well,
It's scary.
and when he's like when he's like slowly walking towards Wendy and she's swinging at him with the bat, he's like, "You didn't let me finish my sentence, Wendy. I'm not gonna hurt you."
With his hands that are, aggressive and active and
Yeah.
moving all over, and then he sticks his tongue out sometimes
And then
like
he starts smiling and he's like, "I'm just gonna bash your head in."
why is your phone? Okay. A couple months ago, I started a list called Braden's Red Flags. You want to hear an updated? Okay. Not sleeping under the top sheet if it's there, like when we're in a hotel or we're at someone's house.
That's because the top sheet is a piece of shit.
Braden will go under the blankets, over the top sheet. So when I get into bed and I go under the blankets and under the top sheet, I get trapped under there. Not fun.
Top sheets need to be fucking burned.
Listen, I don't enjoy top sheets, but if it's there, we're required to sleep underneath it.
Why? Says who? We can just rip it off the bed. It sucks.
Then you can do that, but that's not what you do, okay? Braden brushes his teeth with hot water.
Not always.
You used to. When we go to restaurants and our food comes out at the same time, Braden will go, "Oh wow, this looks so good," and he'll reach his fork over and eat mine before I can even take a bite of it.
All right.
Red flag.
This bit is lasting too long.
Okay.
Let's wrap this up.
Braden always has his ringer on,
Yeah,
which
that-
is the main reason that I
That
brought
was
this
the
up
point.
because Braden's phone will be connected to the Bluetooth in the car, and the best part of the song will be interrupted because ding, ding.
Yeah, but
Because
yeah.
Braden's a part of like a million group chats and he never mutes them.
But here's the thing though. Why this
It is a red flag
This is
that
why-
your phone is not on silent.
this is why
And then when I say
this is why that doesn't matter, because Micah likes to listen to music at a volume that is barely discernible. Like you can tell maybe that there's music going on,
no,
but you can't. You don't know the melody. You don't know the words. There's no way that you're hearing
that
the
is
words.
not true.
Micah likes to put it on like background elevator music, but like,
Only when I'm sitting
hey
in the
Siri,
back seat.
Siri, take this elevator music volume down by 5. I want it to be like in my subconscious but I don't want to be able to understand anything about it.
That is not true.
So the fact that my ringer is on during car rides, that doesn't matter at all because Micah's not listening to the music anyway.
Well, hell, sorry I want to have a conversation and actually be able to hear you. It's not like there's subtitles on.
There you go. Whoa. Siri just listened to me, and then I got this notice from her said, "Okay, music will be played softer." That's not what I wanted, bitch. The pelts.
The pelts, you bitch.
Oh, that's funny. Actually, that's something that reminded me. Stephen King hated this adaptation.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Was he not involved in it at all?
I don't think so. I mean, he gave the rights over, obviously, and got paid.
Right, but sometimes the authors are still involved.
I don't think he was. You know, I'd always heard this, and I figured, oh, Stephen King's probably just wrong, because this is one of the best horror movies of all time. Everybody agrees it's one of the best horror movies of all time. After sort of reading what was changed about it, I could understand why he's upset. Because Jack in the books is a loving father and a loving husband.
Oh, he is not portrayed as that at all.
Who's very complicated and was abused as a kid.
Okay.
And is trying his best, but he's very susceptible to the
Well, he's
influence. Yeah, and he's very susceptible to the influence of this hotel. And that's what happens to him.
Yeah, because one of my notes is, wowza, Jack is a jerk.
Yeah, he's a not good guy in this movie.
Objectively,
at all.
That's it.
Like unkind, uncaring.
That's too bad that they
cold.
didn't make him more complicated.
Right. Like if I was Stephen King and that's what was done to my character that I designed that way, I would be pissed too.
Because the only thing that I can think of that would make him quote unquote complicated is that he hurt Danny because he came home and he was drunk. And then Wendy says, if you do that again, I'm leaving you. You need to stop drinking. And it's been 5 months and he hasn't drank. So, you know, you can say, oh, yeah, he's trying. But every time he talks about it...
Was it months or years?
No.
Okay.
Every time he talks about it, he shows no remorse. In the movie.
Well, and when he's talking to Lloyd, he's like, I would never hurt him. I love the little fucker.
Yeah.
But like the way that he's talking, you're like, I don't think you really do.
Yeah.
I think you're just saying that because you're supposed to say that.
Right.
But you actually kind of take pleasure in hurting your family.
Yeah.
You know, emotionally and physically.
Which, yeah, so it's sad to hear that they didn't
respect his version of the character.
No, there's no arc.
The true version of the character really is the original version, rather, because this movie has definitely eclipsed the impact of the book. I don't think that's even debatable. But I understand. Look, I understand why Stephen King would be upset by that. I think that don't quote me on this, but I think that in the end of the book, Jack blows up the hotel. He regains control.
Jack doesn't die?
He does.
Oh.
He regains control of himself for just enough time, and he tells Danny to run, and he blows up the hotel.
Oh.
And that's how Jack dies, instead of chasing his son through a hedge maze with an axe.
That was so scary.
Trying to kill him. So yeah, like if that's the way that you wrote the book and you wanted Jack to have a little bit of redemption at the end and you wanted him to be a complicated character rather than just kind of an out and out piece of shit, yeah, I can understand the frustration. So I felt like we should address that.
Thank you for addressing that.
Thank you. Also, I'd read that book. Loved the effort that Jack put into the varied paragraph indenting and structure.
I know.
Would you not read that book? What a great book.
Yeah.
And he made some spelling mistakes every once in a while. Are you ready for the game?
Yeah.
All right. This game is called But Why Here's Johnny, Though? Ready?
Yeah. Like, why not here's Jackie?
Because what about here's Ronnie?
Why Ronnie?
Here's Sonny. Here's Chobani. Incidentally, the Chobani Greek Yogurt Company could use that as their slogan.
What's the point of this game?
Here's Lonnie. I have a few more. Here's Bronny. Do you think that's what Bronny James says when he pulls up for a 3 and then misses?
Ever get
Clank? Is he a clanker?
Do I need to bleep that?
You know what? Actually, it is kind of charged because that's like that's the equivalent to the other word, right? But for robots, and that's kind of the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm admitting that was done in poor taste, and I didn't mean it like that at all. I just meant clanker because he misses threes, and you say clank when you know
When like the
you get it.
more I hear that word, the more I'm like, yeah, that kind of
It
sounds
actually
like a
it
slur.
actually sounds like yeah. I mean, here's Mulligatawny.
Okay, what is the point? Where's
Here's
the game?
here's Professor Trelawney.
Okay, you're done.
I'm cut off.
Yeah, because
But
why not just say here's Jackie?
that was improvised by Jack Nicholson, and I'm just wondering why he didn't go with those other ones. Or Jackie.
His name's Jack.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Okay. Coming up, Shutter Island, as we already mentioned. I think that will take us to just after Halloween.
We'll probably do one more.
And I think, yeah. So Shutter Island will come out the week after Halloween. And I think we'll just do one more. So this will just go into November,
Yeah,
I guess.
because we started late. We need to
Yeah.
start earlier next time.
Yeah, we kept talking about it, and then I think we were just in a slump of movies and stuff. And thank you, everybody. This got us out of it a little bit, right?
Yeah, because
We're on our way
what
out.
we do? We did Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Shining. All three have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Shutter Island.
we're doing Shutter Island, and then after that, I am gonna push for Silence of the Lambs. But other options are The Invisible Man, the one that came out a few years ago, Get Out, which I have not seen and Micah has not seen. So that's another option. Anyway, those are the front runners probably. So I guess you'll just have to wait and see what we end up watching.
Have a great week. Bye.